Hey, what up? It's the one and only Grammy Award-winning creative Gangsta Grillz, CEO of Generation Now, DJ Drama, and you're tuned in to New Music Fridays.
All right, John. So here we are, man.
Yes, sir.
Release date. How you feeling?
Feels great.
That's great. That's great. That's
Feels
great.
amazing.
This project is amazing, man.
Thank you.
Project is amazing. Even the version with the tags, I've been listening to that more than the other version and stuff like that. But I guess just what are you most excited about with this project?
I think I'm most excited about the fact that it's my first full-length album in like 6 years, and that I've been playing a lot of various roles within hip hop, and I'm finally getting back to album mode. And releasing a quality body of work.
Grammy Award winning now. They gotta talk to you different.
Yeah, different title.
I forgot what album was that where you said that recently? What album was that where you said that? He's like, Grammy Award winning. You gotta talk to the price is different. Yesterday's price.
I said it. I mentioned it on Cash Doll's tape.
Yeah, it was Cash.
Yeah, I mentioned it on Cash Doll's tape on Snowfall on Jeezy's project. He has a song called Grammys. I said I really got that. Yeah. So yeah. I did. I said on Cash Doll, I said these are Grammy Award winning vocals.
Yeah. I had to ask you about next time I got drama. I said I had to ask him. NBA YoungBoy's album, right?
Yeah.
He said, "Call me Jeffrey Drummer."
Yeah.
What went into that? Like, in kind of, how do you ever say anything and then you like look back on it and like, that was kind of wild. Maybe I shouldn't have like referenced that.
When I said that, it definitely turned social media into a frenzy. Like I got a lot of normally my nicknames like when I get them off they're like, oh, that was crazy. That one was a little like on the edge, but I don't it's all in the name of fun. You know what I'm saying? So it was for shock value. Like it was at the time when the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix show had just came out and everything, so I just was kind of playing along with that, and then playing along with just kind of the topic on NBA YoungBoy's tape. So yeah, that was a wild one.
Jack's rapping like he's got something to prove, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
What type of mode is Jack in right now?
Yeah, he's he's in a real like hip hop mode. Just really spitting, and I guess still something to prove in a sense. So. The song he has on my album is like it's a Don Cannon produced track. It's just it's bar heavy. It's me on the hook, and it's just him showing like what he's capable of when it comes to that mic.
Is it kind of like a thing where he came out, because he came out, I remember when he came out a few years ago when you started putting him on Sway and everything like that.
Yeah. He
was a rapper. It was like this white kid rapping.
Yeah.
And then, he pops, and then it's kind of like he goes a little more pop.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like, when he went pop, that's when he blew up and became this big rapper. Then everybody on the outside that didn't see when he came up just saw this white kid go on pop, and he gets all the attention.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, no, I came up because I can rap.
For sure.
You think that's what he's doing right now? He's going back to, like, I guess those roots of hip-hop, trying to...
I don't want to give away too much, but he's definitely in the process of working on new music. And then, for all the critique of him being pop, I think we definitely still have to remember, like, what's poppin', which was his first big hit single, is really a real rap record. You know what I'm saying? It's super bar heavy. It's very lyrical. So, even for those who weren't familiar with Jack before it was popping, he came out the gate really showing that he could rap. Obviously, with the success of First Class, that was a record that definitely went somewhat mainstream. It was a #1 record. But yeah, I think when it comes to Jack, like he's always in a space where, lyrically, like he can show that he wants to compete with the best of them.
What is Seti on the project first? Let me ask that first.
Yeah, Seti's not on this album.
Okay, why wasn't Seti and Sonny on these projects?
Sonny is actually working on his project. So, we kind of were in the space where, the plan was for them to both our projects to drop like consecutively. So Sonny is still on the way. His project is coming, and the record that said he had on the project actually had some sample issues, so we had to take it off.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So just talking about those two guys, those are the guys that you've been pushing the past year and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As artists, obviously everybody knows Sonny for about a decade plus
For
what he's done. But just how's the progression of those two artists?
It's dope, man. I'm excited for what the future holds. Really overall just for what Generation Now, like what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like Uzi's album is coming. Like Jack's working on music. We got some new artists that we're in the process of signing right now. We have a female artist, Carvina, who's amazingly fire. She's on the project as well. So, we're really looking to introduce some like new faces and new names to the roster.
One thing I love about you guys is Gangsta Grills Radio. I feel like it's kind of one of the low-key kind of underrated like parts of what you guys do at Gangsta Grills, because it's like, I remember listening a few years ago, you was like, y'all don't need y'all aux cords for this.
Yeah.
And I was just randomly Saturday night, I was like, let me see what Hot 107. I was tired of listening to my same 10 songs I'd be listening to on aux. And I was like, man, Freaky T, like I'm hearing like, I just love it because y'all play the stuff that we play on aux and stuff like that.
Facts.
I guess just, just how has that process been over the past decade, kind of working with Hot 107.9 and some of these other radio stations around the country to get that freedom to play what you want, but also like a piece to them and their recommendation or requirements for what you need to play.
Well, it's dope. My history with Hot 107.9 is extensive. Like, it was one of my first radio shows. Gangsta Grills Radio has literally been on the air since 2005, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going on, what's that? 18 years, and then I have a show on Sirius XM Shade 45, Streets is Watching. And, for me, like when I got on radio, I got on radio in a position as DJ Drama, as like somebody who came from the streets, who came from mixtapes, where I didn't have to be a jukebox, where I was able to like, play new music and, play freestyles and just kind of, like you said, it's similar to what people would do on an aux cord. So, radio is something that is still in our repertoire. We still have our shows, and it's dope. It's an outlet for us to play new music as well as to, break music from the camp and, me showcase my new projects and things like that.
This is a very random question.
Okay.
Tony Snow. Are you familiar with Tony Snow's music and anything like that? I know he's cool with Cedi, so that's why I was.
I'm not.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, next question. Dang. All right. So just all these years in the game, I want to ask you about when Tyler approached you, right? Because that was kind of like the turning point of, like you said, it's 2005, 2006 all over again.
Yeah.
I guess when that was happening, did you feel more prepared for this run that you're on right now as opposed to when it first happened?
That's a good question. Interestingly enough, probably no. I probably was less prepared because my run, like the 05, 06, 07 run was literally, me 10, 12 years into grinding and, trying to make a name for myself and like trying to be in the game. So like when I got there, I was like, all right, cool. Like now it's time to really go. You know what I'm saying? So I was on full throttle. This time it was kind of like, it like creeped up on me. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm obviously like years in the game, a lot of legacy behind me. I've been successful for some time. So, I kind of just, it kind of pushed me to like turn it up a notch and get in and go into like a higher gear. You know what I mean? So like it kind of just like happened organically. And the next thing I know, it was like, the energy was reminiscent of that time when I had first got on fire. So, it really was like, I think this time it was more just out of the love and just out of like, humble to still be in a position to, be able to do what I love to do, after having all the success and being in a position where I'm not doing this because I got to, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing it because I want to, you know? So, yeah, with that being said, it was like, you know, this time was like, oh, okay, like, y'all want me back out here? Like, y'all want to see what I can really do? All right, let me show you. You know, it kind of is like a ball player, you know, in a sense, like coming back to the league after his prime and really, you know, still showing that he still can, you know, ball with the youngins.
Jordan Post baseball.
Yeah, similar for sure. Like, you know, I mean, just like this year I'm turning 45 in 2023, so 45 and 2-3. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm wearing my 4-5 jersey in the 2-3.
But it really reminds me of that. Like, it's kind of like you were transitioning into like your Diddy era, where you just like the OG, everybody respected. You know, you kind of had Uzi being like the freaking mega superstar of rap, and then you were breaking another one with Jack, and you were kind of working with him, being his DJ on the road and stuff, his first few shows. Yeah. And then it was like this kind of came out of nowhere, where it was like, you know, you had to go full DJ drama again. Yeah. So I don't know, it's just been, like, as a hip hop fan, it's just been kind of refreshing to see.
Nah, I love that. You know, it's been refreshing to be a part of. You know, I put out 12, 13 project, or actually I put out like 15, 16 Gangsta Grills in the last like year, and like in the last like 16 months. So, you know, that's pretty crazy to think, like in 2022, 23, like Gangsta Grills is in the space in a pocket with this resurgent. You know, I said, like, you know, I brought the mixtape game back to life, you know, and I really did. And yeah, it's just been fun to be out there and show I still got it.
The love that Tyler still showed you, you know, with the opening track and stuff like that, I guess just, you know, how's that relationship been since past everything and stuff like that up to now?
It's been great. You know, Tyler's somebody who I really consider a friend. You know, I'm super thankful to have played a role in his genius. You know, we've had like you know, we've built a real camaraderie with each other. Watching him put Call Me If You Get Lost together, and then tour, and then, you know, like every city he goes to and tours or does that project, you know, you hear my voice blasting out of, you know, in front of 15 to 40,000, you know what I'm saying? He performed at Made in America in Philly, which was literally right around the corner from where I grew up, and, you know, opening, you know, hearing my voice come out was like, you know, it's one of those moments like, wow, who would have thunk it? So Tyler's a great guy, you know, he's an amazing talent. And, you know, I was, you know, starting the album off with him, just, it felt right. It felt like mandatory.
And you know, of course, the OGs, the guys that you came up with in the 2000s eras, when you talk about the guys from the Dreamville set last year, Jeezy, T.I. and Wayne and stuff like that, and then you decided to put the Jeezy single from the Jeezy album on your tape as well.
Absolutely.
On your album as well. So,
yeah.
Just how cool is that to, you know, while you're connecting with all these new artists, the Simbas, the Cash Dolls, the Tyler and stuff, how cool is that to still be with the ones that you really came up with?
I mean, it's dope. You know, it shows that, you know, we, like, how much history we have, how impactful we've been. Like, you know, Tip is on the album, Wayne's on the album, Jeezy's on the album, you know, and like those guys mean a lot to my career. They mean a lot to Gangsta Grills. So it's like, you know, I'm able to be in a spot, in a position where, you know, I'm doing what I've always done best, you know, and I've been able to like put on new voices and be a part of new movements, as well as like, you know, my usual suspects, the guys that a lot of people have known me for, or the first time you may have heard of Gangsta Grills was a T.I. or a Jeezy or a Wayne. So, you know, we're all, you know, elder statesmen in hip hop these days, and it's like, you know, we still out here, still doing what we love to do.
Would you do a country track with Nelly? That'd be kind of hard.
Yeah, I'm open to anything. You know, just last year I met Morgan Wallen when I was on tour with Wiz, and you know, it was dope that he was familiar with my work and knew about Gangsta Grills. So, you know, I made a joke with him about doing a Morgan Wallen Gangsta Grills or something. So, You know, Nelly's my guy too. So yeah, I'm open to anything.
Oh, that'd be hard. Okay, I'm gonna ask you about DJ Drama the Man. You know,
Gotcha.
how has DJ Drama the Man kind of grown ever since we first heard of him in the 2000s?
Wow, DJ Drama the Man has grown a lot. I mean, you know, I'm literally, you know, 20 years into the game. You know, being in my 40s, it's like I'm a lot wiser. You know, I'm a lot. I'm in a great space, like, you know, where I've accomplished so much, and I work. You know, I feel like when it comes to my career, I really did it the right way, in a sense of like, you know, grinded in my 20s. You know, made smart moves in my 30s to set up where I am in my 40s, where, you know, I'm still, I'm in a position where, you know, I've got a lot of success. I got a lot of streams of revenue, but I'm still, you know, relevant in the game. You know what I mean? So I'm able to, you know, give advice to youngins. You know, I'm an inspiration to a generation now, you know, where I was coming up, you know, being inspired by those who came before me, and now, you know, I'm literally have been the soundtrack to people's lives, you know, and, you know, I'm just like, I'm content in my space and my role as, you know, what I've done, what I've accomplished, you know, the legend that I am, and knowing that, like, when it's all said and done, you know, I'll go down as one of the greatest. And now I think, you know, as I've gotten older, you know, I've been able to, like, you know, see through the bullshit, you know, be able to be content with, like, what's important in life, you know, of course, family, you know, loved ones, you know, as well as, you know, take my brand and utilize it for, you know, new situations and new ventures and new projects.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask you about. Like you said at the end there, with what's important in life and stuff like that. At what point in life did you begin to pivot of like, okay, I've been working so hard, I've been grinding so hard, I've worked to become DJ Drama, what I wanted DJ Drama to be when I first came down to Atlanta for school. Like, at what point were you like, okay, now I can focus on what else is important in life?
It just kind of started to happen organically, you know. I mean, I spent a lot of years on the road. You know, I got to really see the world. And, you know, as my kids got older, and, you know, as I got older, it just kind of, you know, it happens gracefully, you know, as you grow in the game and, you know, like, check off things on your bucket list. It's like, you know, now it's time to, you know, still be able to enjoy life. But I really love what I do. So, you know, I still put a lot of energy and time into, you know, the culture and the music business, because it's like, you know, it's still, you know, to be in this position after this long is still a blessing. You know what I mean? And everybody doesn't get that opportunity, you know, especially, like, you know, when you're someone who technically is like an artist or a DJ. You know, there's a lot of times you might get a good solid 5-year run, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm on a hell of a run here, you know what I'm saying? So with that, I just try to balance life out, you know, and you know, you just, you know, kind of focus on the important things, and don't let the bullshit get to you.
Did you ever feel bad, like maybe the years on the road and everything like that, when you're going, you know, a couple of hours of sleep every night, all of that, working your way up, climbing the ladder, and then you might have missed something from one of your kids and stuff like that. Did you ever feel that, you know, on the road,
yeah,
coming up younger?
Absolutely, for sure. You know, I've definitely missed some birthdays. But I've also been able to be there for more than I missed, you know, but you definitely, you know, you make sacrifices. You know, anybody will tell you in this business, you know, being a parent and being in the business is like a tough balance. There are a lot of times when you're gone So yeah, I mean, you know, looking back on it, I don't know if if I could say I feel bad about it, but I understand there were some sacrifices that were made, but you know, they've also paid off in a lot of ways, and I'm very proud of, you know, how my kids have grown, and you know, the what I've instilled in them, and you know, the beautiful young ladies that they are. So yeah, but there's definitely, you know, this business definitely comes with sacrifices along the way. But you know, it's regret is something that can hold you down if you live with. You know what I mean? You gotta learn from it. You know, you gotta understand everything happens for a reason, and you know, really focus on tomorrow more than you focus on, you know, yesterday.
It beats the alternative of like, you know, if you were broke and you didn't have the money to get them a birthday party or a birthday cake, and then you stressing and you feel like a bad dad.
Listen, I say it all the time. Like, you know, the moment you take this for granted is the moment they stop caring, or the shows stop, or the opportunities stop. So, you know, I'm not somebody. You know, when the opportunities present itself, you know, and they're of quality, like, you know, I try to show by example. Like, you know, I'm a hard worker. I hustle. You know, I put a lot into, you know, creating my own empire, my own business. Like, you know, it's not like I went and been working for somebody for the last amount of years, you know what I'm saying? And another job, like I literally built something from scratch, you know, no pun intended, but you know what I mean? Or pun intended. You know, so with that, it's like, you know, I feel like I'm part of the blueprint of, like, you know, what you're capable of doing if you put your mind and your foot forward.
Call me if you get lost. You know, one of the earlier tracks, you know, Tyler talks about crying. He'd rather cry in the boat, in the ocean. But would you rather cry in a yacht or in a Mercedes, or, you know, whatever Sprinter, than a regular car?
I think anybody would probably rather cry.
Does it feel better? Like, I don't know. Can you remember?
Well, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, I can't say that it always does. Like, you know, you can be rich and successful and still be lonely. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's crying on a yacht. Like, if you're on a yacht by yourself, sad, like, I don't think that's a much better feeling. No, it is. It's a better. I'd rather cry on a yacht by myself than in a Toyota Corolla. For sure.
So you remember the college days?
Yeah, of course. I remember, you know, not being able to, like, pay my water bill, and, like, you know, I was making gangster grills and feeling like, damn, this shit might not work. I might have to go back to Philly and figure something out. So, you know, I remember the grind, and I went through it, you know, and I remember, you know, $100 parties or $200 parties, and, you know, and I commend and salute to anybody out there who's on the grind and, you know, trying to make a name for themselves like I did, because, you know, I literally, I didn't skip no steps. Like, I went through it all, you know, and which makes the payoff that much more worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're on.
But I try not to cry at all. I don't. There's no reason to cry.
Okay,
whether,
all right.
Whether I'm in the Maybach, the Sprinter, the yacht, or the Corolla.
I heard it, John. All right. So, you know, like I said, you know, we are on the tight schedule and everything like that. So, last couple questions, and we're gonna get you on out of here. I do want to ask you about I guess we could just move on to, you know, I had something and then it departed me.
So, I hate when that happens.
Right. Yeah, you've been doing the interview thing for a while.
Yeah, yep, I have. Yeah.
So I guess, you know, just what are you really excited for that's coming up next? We'll go general. And then,
for me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, of course, you know, Generation Now projects. Obviously, this album, you know, I got some other big things in the works. I got some Gangsta Grills mixtapes, some more coming for the year. And I have some other ventures, you know, that I'm not prepared to announce yet, but definitely, you know, increasing, you know, the DJ Drama brand and, you know, taking it in other avenues.
Got it. RICO cases.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you in the moment of your RICO case, just what got you through that time? Like, kind of what were some of the things that you had to tell yourself to get through that tough time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, you can't really see how great you are until you face adversity. Obviously, my RICO is somewhat different from the recent ones because, it was literally based around music, you know what I'm saying? So, I never sold a drug a day in my life or, in my opinion, never committed a crime. I was given to the culture and got hit for a RICO, you know what I'm saying? So I always say I took the fall for hip hop, but, just really like, again, like, really learning like that you can't see, how built you are for this until something comes and tries to take it away from you. You know what I mean? And, I got in a position where, they tried to take it all from me and I was able to like stand tall and, and not only rebuild, but rebuild 100 times bigger and larger and, create movements and create an empire that was like, some people don't even know about that, you know what I'm saying? So that takes a lot. Like, that could have been the final chapter in my story, but that shit's fucking chapter 6 and I'm on chapter 20 now.
Final question. For the youngins that look up to you, they I guess, just kind of looking for that motivation. They might be hustling, working every day, but they might be hustling the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like what is a way that, I guess, a puzzle piece that you could give them, a little nugget that can help them get to the next level?
Trust the journey. You got to realize too, like when you're in the process of building or in the process of, doing what you love to try to get to that next level, sometimes you don't even realize like the history that you're making. You know what I mean? When I was in those early years of creating Gangsta Grills and making what are now classic mixtapes, I was just doing what I love to do. I wasn't doing it because I thought it was going to make me rich or I thought it was going to make me famous. It was like I was doing it for hip hop, So for those out there hustling, it's like, you gotta go full throttle, and you gotta know and believe that, if this is really what you want, your time will come, and be prepared for it, because a lot of time we see people who have those moments, but they're not prepared when the moment hits, so you definitely want to, study the game, read books, like, watch podcasts, like, do internships, like, there's so much today, there's so much more even accessibility to jewels and to knowledge, even from my years, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for you not to be able to spend your time like learning and, trying to connect the dots and realizing that, nothing under the sun is necessarily new. You know what I mean? Even with what I created, I didn't invent the wheel. I wasn't the first mixtape DJ, or I wasn't, the most popular mixtape DJ when I started, but, I was able to, again, like take a formula, take a blueprint that, because I paid attention and being a student of the game and put my twist on it and, come out and make something like that now stands the test of time and is the most important mixtape series of all time. But, I didn't go into it knowing that, you know what I'm saying? And, just, I tell everybody, man, keep grinding, build a great team, realize that, the movements that you create are what people will respect later on.
50 years of hip hop. We have a hip hop legend in the building, DJ Drama. We appreciate the time so much.
Absolutely.
One of the DJs at the Grammys for the 50 years of hip hop.
For sure, that was big.
Thank you. New Music Fridays, new album out right now. Y'all make sure y'all go support all streaming platforms out right now. Tyler the Creator, Lil Wayne, T.I., Wiz Khalifa, Moneybagg Yo, all set.
Offset is on there.
La Russell.
La Russell's on there.
Saha the Prince.
Saha's
Come on,
there.
man. I've been listening. Come on, man. So, but hey, rolling out. Until next time, take care of yourselves.